The second key lesson I want to talk about today is how to help students take over and take ownership of their learning. We want our students, our children, to be able to work independently. And of course, that's grade level appropriate. I know that at the kindergarten level, there are some things that students can do independently, like play with Legos for a little bit. I know at the kindergarten level, they might be able to flip through pages of a book for a little bit. So our level of independence will vary based on grade level, but we should be moving them to a greater level of independence so that they're not just relying on us to do all of their schoolwork with them or for them. Okay, so let me give you some directions, some tips to helping your students move to a more independent learner. Number one, their directions and their expectations must be very clear. So one of the first things you might do is say, if this is the day that you're trying to help a student manage, you might look at the directions, and if it's not in kid-friendly language, because trust me, teachers are trying to figure out how to communicate these expectations too. So it might be that as the adult, your one job for the day is to look through the stack of work that needs to be completed, or the teacher pages, print off that work and organize it so it's clear and succinct, and give your student no more than 30-minute increments at a time. So, hey, I want you to work on this for 30 minutes. A simple and clear instruction and clear expectation. Please, that might be your only role as the teacher assistant in this homeschool learning environment. The second thing, and this is huge, we want our students to be risk takers. We want our children to be risk takers, because we know if they can take a risk, that they can change the world. You're not going to change the world if you're not afraid to take a risk with learning. And so my second point to help our students work independently is called protection from adverse consequences for initial failures. I'll say that one more time. Listen clearly. We want to have protection for adverse consequences for initial failures. Failure is a part of learning. If students are afraid to try because they think that they'll fail, then they'll never learn. We want students to take risks in their learning, to try and either create that video project or try and create that. I know some teachers are using Flipgrid to collect assignments. We want them to try and practice these things, even if it doesn't work right the first time, second time, or third time. Ask for help at that point, but keep trying, because we want our students to be able to overcome when life is hard. Let's remember the truth. Life will be hard. We want to develop grit in our students, and you do that by setting protection from adverse consequences for initial failures. Help them understand it's okay to fail. It's not okay to not try. I hope that makes sense. It's okay to fail. It's not okay to say, I give up. I'm not going to try anymore. Okay. The third thing is we need learning to be deep and meaningful. As you're switching to an environment where the learning is taking place in your home, I want to remind you that curriculums were developed by companies that would put 195 to 200 days worth of learning into a textbook. And what they're trying to do with those textbooks is sell them to make money. I promise you that's their goal. Publishing companies are in that business. Everyone that works there is in that business. Yes, they want students to learn, but they've got to sell product to make money. So what they do is they try to make sure that their curriculum covers as broad of a range as possible. But when you do that, when you cover this much content, you're only going about this deep on anything. What we need to switch to, and I say this is true not only in this homeschool environment that we're going to right now, I'm trying to make this school real at the school that I'm teaching at and working at currently. We want to make sure that we're narrowing our focus of learning and going deeper. And you go deeper by asking meaningful questions. You're asking students to synthesize what they're learning, to process with higher order thinking. And so really, I want you to think about that. It's not about the breadth that students are covering in this time. It's about the depth, deep levels of understanding. I really think that if we can focus on those three things, making sure the directions and expectations for learning are clear. We're setting up our kids for success in that. Secondly, making sure they understand that if they try something, even if it doesn't go perfect, it's okay. And it's not okay to blame people when it doesn't go perfect. It's okay to try again. It's okay to ask for help, but teach your students that it's not okay to start blaming people when things don't go perfect. Like this video, I'm sure there's some mistakes I've made, but it's okay to try. And then thirdly, we want to make sure that learning is deep and meaningful, not broad and shallow. Broad and shallow learning happens like this, when the assignments are coming home and it's just questions that they need to answer that they can find the answer on the internet. That's broad content and shallow. If they can Google the answer, we're not asking the right questions. We're trying at Life Christian Academy, and I know schools all over the country are thinking the same thought. How do we narrow the focus so we're asking meaningful questions so that the work that they're doing in these homeschool environments, in these new environments, these online learning environments, are meaningful for their education and set them up for success, not only for next year, but also for life. That's it for Teaching Tuesday. I hope you had a good time. We've got a few other guest presenters that I'll present in the weeks to come, but I'm looking forward to it. So if you have any questions, of course, let us know and make it a great week. Bye-bye.